When you wing it, it's exhausting. It feels like life just throwing shit at you over and over and over, right? But when I plan things out, I'm proactive in my attack, it makes life fulfilling and makes life worthwhile.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
Who's Darren Hardy? He's an author. He's a big success guru, right? No, he's Kylie. I've read his book like multiple times, and he also owned. It's Compound Effect is his book, but he also owned this thing, Success Magazine, which was his thing that he had overall as well, right? So that's one thing I think is important to look at. But the key part here is he was at a conference, my friend Jay Kinder and them having a conference all the time, met him at a conference multiple times, but he had this thing, and he asked one of the guys at dinner, he said, hey, what's the most important thing to you in your life right now? What do you think he said? Family, what do you say? What type of family do you think? Kids. He said, my kids are my most important part of my life. He said, awesome. And before that, he asked me, he said, hey, how well of a calendar do you think you have? And he said, I live my life on my calendar. My calendar is very good. My calendar is how I run everything through my calendar. And so he pulled out this and said, let me see your phone really quick. And he looked at the phone. I forget this. Dallas, Texas, looked at the phone, and he showed the phone, and he said, you're full of shit. There's nothing blocked out in there about what? His kids. But meanwhile, he said that was his what? Number one priority. And so it just goes to show that a lot of times we have these feelings about how we're committed to, but we don't actually back it up. And so I was just talking about this, a great reminder we looked at. And so the key part is I want to make sure that you guys understand that if it's not in the calendar, it's not what? A priority. Is not going to happen. And so if I know that I have to optimize things, I'm going to get to why it is, because here's the thing. I want you guys, most people don't have everything dialed into the calendar, and when you're just winging it, it's exhausting. When you wing it, it's exhausting. It feels like life just throwing shit at you over and over and over, right? But when I plan things out, I'm proactive in my attack, it makes life fulfilling and makes life worthwhile. What's the number one thing I want you guys, the same thing I do with your warrior, we talked about this a million times, but I just think it's a great reminder, especially on the back what we just talked about, is I have my Sunday night planning session every Sunday. Why? We call it General's Tent. What am I doing there? Planning my attack, right? I'm planning, hey, look, here's what I have to do. Here's what's going on. Here's what I need to make sure I optimize. And this is what I need to make sure I'm planning my proactive activities, not my reactive. If I don't plan on Sunday, and here's the thing, there's been lots of Sundays I didn't plan. And what do you think happens to my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Chaos. And I got hammered with 100% reactionary stuff. And so the more reactionary stuff I get, the more addicting it becomes, and the more you just become, right, whack-a-mole, trying to play the game of whack-a-mole, and all of a sudden I whack all the moles, and at the end, what do you think happened? Nothing. I didn't move the needle. So if I'm planning on Sundays, what's the number one thing I need to plan for? Okay? Topic-wise. Me. My time. What's the time I have for me and for me to get better, right? My personal growth. And if I don't improve the number one asset that I have, guess what doesn't improve? My business, my relationship with my kids. The other thing doesn't happen at all. And so I want you guys to kind of have that piece, which is very important. It's just a big aha, great reminder going back through. Number one, most important thing for me is my personal growth. Why? If I'm run down and my cup is empty, what do I have to give? Nothing to my kids, to my spouse, and to my clients. And so most who don't take time to plan for the number one thing, which is you, right? And Warrior, we talk about this thing, the king eats first. And we talk about that because I can't give my family anything that I don't have. And so it's one of those things that you have to make sure that you're taking time to do what? Fill your cup. And that happens through what? Audio, video, reading. And I'll write role play too. Number two, what do you think it is? Business. Family time. Now, obviously, this is The reason it's number 2 is so that it's optimized. Meaning that what? I put my kids to bed at night. Obviously, I'm not going to... The majority of your time is going to be spent on what? Business. But if I go back between this guilt and the shame piece of not having certain specific times, right, I want to make sure I have this piece planned out. Number 3, the most important here is what then? Which specifically would be what? Proactive stuff. Things like what? My dials, right? Very, very important piece there. My prospecting, my follow-up, my biz development, which is thing I do. My role play, script practice, 15 minutes of studying the market every single day. If I want to know what's going on with it. So, number 3, prospecting, follow-up, my biz development stuff, which anything that's, optimizing, doing my paperwork, processing like that. My role play and script practice needs to be what? Scheduled and mandatory. In our group, we're talking about 3 days a week, right? Not just Wednesday. It needs to be 3 days a week practicing my script practice, my development, right? If I'm a listing person, hey, I need to have my price reduction stuff, right? Get up early, making sure I'm getting those things done, whatever it is. That way, once it's in there, what happens? If I put my lead generation in and it's standard, and I put it on Sunday night, what are the chances that it gets moved? A lot less likely, right? Unless I'm having somebody book appointments for me, at that point I got to move shit around. But if I'm a general brokerage agent and I'm in charge of making my phone calls, that's my number 1 priority. It needs to be planned out on the first of the week. When you wing it, it's exhausting. That's just what you guys take from anything. When I'm winging my week, it's exhausting. You're treading water and you don't feel like you're moving anywhere. But when I take Sunday night and I plan my week out and I execute on it, guess what happens at the end? I feel really good about it on Friday, right? Which is why you want to make sure you do it. Proactive makes it fulfilling and worthwhile. Here's one thing that I also took this and studying for this too. All mistakes are made because I lack energy. All mistakes are made because I lack energy. And here's the deal, right? If you want to conserve energy, what do you do? Be very clear. That's a good one too. Be very clear what my schedule is. All mistakes in life are made because I lack energy. If I want to conserve energy, I need to be very clear what my schedule is. Make sense? I want you guys to think of it like this as an agent. I work from 8 to 12 in the office like an employee. I treat like an employee no matter what till 12 o'clock. And then from 12 on, I treat like a business owner. I have to make good decisions, right? Because we're obviously all in business together. You're independent as a team member here, but you make the decisions in the afternoon. When I'm showing property, how I'm doing it, where I'm going. But I want you to make sure the morning stuff is non-negotiable. Period, okay? I want you guys to write this. This is what I want you to take from it. Your calendar is your number 1 accountability partner. One of my coaches said a long time ago, you show me your calendar, I'll show you your future, right? Every single time it's super important to make sure that we have that very, very specific and very, very optimized.